Hey, everybody. Welcome to the SCB Steelers Inside Blitz for February 18th, 2025. A couple of topics to hit. And yes, I did trim my beard a little bit. I kind of lost a fight with my trimmer recently, but that's all right. I'll grow it back soon enough. In any case, hopefully you survived the first weekend without football. It's always a real... I don't know. It's a tough weekend for me. Obviously, you go through cycles. You go through like when the Steelers season is over, and then you go through when the regulars or when everybody's done playing. And it's not like the old days when you had the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl. It just ends when the Super Bowl's done. It's all over. But hey, look, as everybody knows, this is a 365-day venture now, and that's football. I mean, before too long, the combine's going to be here. People are already starting to talk about free agency. We've already ramped up our draft stuff. So this is not anything to pine over by any extent. So hopefully you enjoyed the weekend off and are ready to get back at it. A couple of things I wanted to just run by you real quick here. First of all, coming up on the podcast this Thursday night, it's our annual SCB Steelers Blitzies. This is our version of the, Academy Awards, ESPYs, all those things, okay? We will have our awards for everything related to the Steelers in terms of MVPs, offensive, defensive players, top rookies, but we put our own spin on this too. We'll also have biggest disappointments, worst free agent signing, who's the worst person in the chat every week and why is it Aaron? Things like that will be mentioned. Though I'm kidding, Aaron, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great time. Join us coming up Thursday night, 10 p.m. For the show on the YouTube channel. As far as just some Steelers topics, obviously, I think most of you already know that they released Preston Smith, veteran outside linebacker, edge guy who came over from the Packers during right at the trade deadline. And, he didn't even get a helmet the last few weeks of the season. He was out healthy scratch, if you will, for the playoff game. And so this, this was not shocking at all, and it saves the Steelers about $13 million against the cap. So not surprising at all. And I think if you were to ask Preston Smith, he wouldn't be surprised at all either. But that is really the first domino of many, many dominoes that will start falling here in the next few weeks. And then when the season really kicks off, which is March 12th, that's when things kind of hit the ground running, and it's going to be fun and exciting as always as free agency gets going and all that stuff. But the other item too is just quarterbacks in general, and perhaps a little more specific here. Matthew Stafford. Last week it was Trevor Lawrence, and everything we learned, the tweet that was put out suggesting the Steelers had called about Trevor Lawrence. From everything I understand, that never happened, but it does open the door to two things. It opens the door to the fact that general managers talk all the time. It could be as simple as, hey, how are the kids doing? And by the way, if you were going to trade Trevor Lawrence, well, would you think about it? I mean, that's how these conversations start more often than not. And there's no proof that the Steelers did that, but it is not surprising if they would have, because that's your job if you're Omar Khan, is to look to upgrade your team. And I'm not going to get into whether or not I like or not like Trevor Lawrence. That's not what this is about. This is just simply about the idea that you have to do what's best, and the quarterback position is far and away the most important position on the field, and Pittsburgh Steelers have to find somebody to anchor that or nail that down. Or we're looking at the 1980s all over again. And if you're my age or older, you don't want to go through that. But as far as Matthew Stafford, first of all, let me just say, I think he's still top 12, maybe even 10 quarterback in the NFL. The arm strength is still there. He is tough. He hangs in that pocket. He plays hurt. He's a smart guy. Yeah, he gets in trouble at times because of the arm strength and the willingness to gun the ball into some pretty tight spots. But that's gunslingers, and we've seen our share of them. So that isn't the issue here as far as his ability. I look at it more along the lines of where this particular Steelers roster is, and it's not a good roster right now. I think if you look back. When this past season started in 2024, the roster was better than it currently is and will be for the springtime. Obviously, there's free agency in the draft, and we hope to add to that. But I think the best comparison is if you go back to maybe those early 2000 teams, and even the couple years that Ben was young. Just take Ben Roethlisberger out of the equation for a minute. Pretend like he didn't exist. You had good receivers, you had a good offensive line, you had a running game, you had a really good defense. If this were a situation like that, where I can go out, I can spend some day one or day two draft picks, and I can bring in a Matthew Stafford at 37 years of age, I know I've got all the pieces in play, so I'm going to do it, and I would be 100% on board with that. The problem I have, if in this scenario that was proposed this week, the scenario suggested that the Steelers would give up their first round, their second round, and then a conditional second round next year. If Stafford played 65% of the snaps, it would go up to a first round. So we would be talking about giving up essentially 2 first rounders and a second, okay? Because he's going to play. I mean, only if he gets hurt does that not go up to a first. And, in return, if I'm not mistaken, we would get the Rams first round pick and another one. So there is a lot of swaps going on there, but I still am not in a position where I feel like I want to give up many day one or day two picks for a 37-year-old player, especially quarterback. And again, has nothing to do with his ability, nothing to do with where he is as a player right now. It just has to deal with the fact that who's he going to throw to? Who's he going to hand the ball off to? Who's going to block? Who's going to protect him? We have a young offensive line that again is going to be like starting over because you've got Troy Fautanu, who essentially is going to be going through his rookie year. You've got Jalen Warren and nobody else, because I have to believe they're probably going to let Cordell Patterson walk. And we know Najee's likely gone. And I mean, receiver-wise, you got George Pickens, Calvin Austin III. I mean, you know what you're dealing with there. So I guess it all comes down to, why would Matthew Stafford even want to come here? He's at the twilight of his career. He probably wants an opportunity to maybe play for one more shot at a ring. And furthermore, I still think he's going to stay in LA. But that's just me. That's just me. But what all this does is it brings everything back full circle to the quarterback position. And Alan Saunders at Steelers Now, I nailed that with a tweet this week when he was talking about the quarterback situation. There's just not a guy out there who's all of a sudden going to make your team a Super Bowl contender. There aren't guys that are going to drop you to being 4-13 either. You're going to find some guys that can make you competitive, but at the same time, there just aren't those guys. Now, again, do I expect Omar Khan and the Steelers to be doing everything they can to try to make that position better? Absolutely. It's just a matter of what is the cost. What is the cost? And, I still think even if quarterback isn't a top target, and I have no reason to believe it will be as weak as this quarterback class is, I do think that Khan is definitely going to maybe look at somebody maybe third, fourth round, something of that nature, middle rounds, and take a flyer on a guy. Why not? Stranger things have happened, and they need somebody at the position. So we'll see where all this goes. But I've taken up enough of your time. Those are just some real quick thoughts on the Steelers. And again, join us on Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a great time. We have wonderful people in the chat with us all the time. They're good football people. They're funny. And they definitely make us think, make us better as well. So check that out, the Steel City Blitz Steelers podcast. presented by Deck Roofing Incorporated. That'll be coming up Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm going to part ways with you for now. Hope you enjoyed the SCB Steelers Inside Blitz. Have a great day.